Sorry about that. Someone actually called me and it kind of shut off the video halfway through, so this will be the other half of it. Yeah, the little wiring does this little like Levin light up fog lamp thing. And these Levin headlights are pretty damn good. They don't got any cracks in them. They're clear. They just overall really good, considering they're like from the 80s. So, no cracks, clear. I don't really know of anything else in there. These little igniter boxes are likely for that engine if you put a different engine in it, which the harness is just ready for any engine pretty much. You just wire up whatever engine, but these are for the GZ engine, so I don't know how that works out for whatever other engine gets put in, but that's what they're for. So paint's pretty good, other than the little scratched off area. There's a little tiny area right there where you can see the original paint. The previous owner painted it. It's just kind of like this brown color. There's not really any dents in it. The hood's over there. I'll have it put on if everything goes through. Have it on. This is it's just a standard 4AG engine harness from like the stock harness. Since I put in a new harness, this came with it. It looks pretty good. I think it's missing the injector pigtails. They've been removed, but the harness looks good. So really, you could put, just if you wanted to drive it immediately, you probably could just put any standard naturally aspirated 4AG in the car and it would probably run. These aren't real Recaros. They're pretty good seats, but they're not real cars. They're like a Taiwan Recaro. These are the original little splash guards. I had them off to do the little fender wiring to just kind of run it through, but they're pretty good considering that those are usually like the first thing to go on cars. They're still there. This is the engine, and I think I mentioned that the harness is not really that great. All the plugs are there, but it was converted for the other original harness, but I can't really vouch for it. This engine has the HKS cams. There are 254 on both exhaust and intake. It's also got a HKS valve springs, I think. I looked at the cams and they look pretty good when I had the cam cover off just to sort of check the engine out. It's got a little fuel pressure gauge. You'd probably want to run a fuel pressure regulator for whatever engine you put in there, because it's got a Walboro in it now in the fuel tank. I dropped the fuel tank and put a Walboro in it and cleaned it out and painted it. So it's probably too much pressure, so you probably need a regulator. Other than that, the SC12 supercharger kicks on and off just like it should. These are I think these are Works cam gears, but I'm not sure. I don't know what cam gears they are. That's the engine. The oil pressure was pretty good when I turned it over. Oil looks good. I took out the spark plugs. I changed the spark plugs with Denso spark plugs before I pulled the engine, and the old spark plugs look good. So it should be a pretty healthy engine. This is the final generation one, so it has like all the oil squirters and the ribs and the forged like crank and rods and all that. So that's pretty good. Even if you wanted to build like a naturally aspirated engine, you would want to use the block from this. And like that's usually what people do when they build a 16 valve naturally aspirated engine, because it's got all the squirters and everything. All right, so this is the old harness. It's got all the plugs. It had burnt. The previous owner had wired up all those horns and shit, and it had he had left the wiring for the AC untaped, and it burnt back into the harness. So that's it. It's got all the old fuses and shit and all the old plugs. So if you ever needed any old fuse or plug, it would be right there. Here's all the interior parts. You got your dash. It's pretty good condition dash. The only little problem is like those two little cracks, but it looks pretty good. I got a dash mat for it over there. It's like custom made for it or whatever, so it covers it up pretty good. These, I don't know why I have two of these. I just noticed that. But yeah, those are the two little bezels. You got all your other interior parts. This is all just for the front of the car. Pretty much the rear of the car has, you know, carpet and shit. But it's all just for the front and the little side deal up on the side. There's the gauge cluster. It says 167 on it. I don't know if that's right. But yeah, I was going to leave this off just because it makes wiring easier when you got to wire up like little gauges and shit. So these doors are pretty good. This little quarter panel here is not a quarter panel, but a little rail is good. There ain't no rust there. What else? So yeah, interior parts. You got your dash. You got your other Recaro seat. This is the intercooler setup for this. It is. It doesn't go through the fenders. It goes underneath the radiator, so the fenders aren't drilled or anything like that. There isn't like big holes in them. Normally when people put intercoolers in cars, they'll get like a hole saw and drill right through there. But it's still intact because the intercooler kind of like loops under and comes up. It's like a Styrian, Mitsubishi Styrian intercooler. So it's got a little HIS, little mushroom filter that comes with it. This is a clutch setup for a 4AGZ. It's got the disc, the clutch pack. I haven't like test fitted it or anything. I don't really know if it works. I was just going off of the Night Kids website, which is the company that made that bell housing. I don't even know if that's a Night Kids bell housing. It's not original to that transmission, but I think it's a Night Kids bell housing. It's like a little custom bell housing. So you got your other parts to. These are all just parts for that W series transmission. So you got a little slave cylinder, throwout bearing, pilot bearing, some clutch forks. These are all for like a pickup. I think that's a pickup transmission. It's not 4-speed though, so it's a 5-speed transmission. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's a W series transmission, but I don't think it's a W58. I think it's a pickup transmission, which is fine for like a little 4AG car. Just makes it's more torque tolerant, I guess. There is no like nothing on this bell housing to say what it is, the previous owner was this guy from Taiwan, and when I bought it from him, he was talking all fast. I don't really remember what it was. He said it was really expensive or something, and that he bought it from like somewhere out of country. So I think it's Night Kids bell housing. They have a Night Kids website that describes like everything that you need to get it running with a 4AGZ. But yeah, he was talking real fast. I don't really remember like what it was all from. He was going real fast. So. This is the original T50 transmission, and I think this is the original T50 bell housing. I have another bell housing right here, but I think that's for a 4AGZ. I don't think you really need that. I think this is just the original, like, naturally aspirated 4AG little setup. It's got a Techno Toy little short shifter there. It's all tight. You got your headers and the radiator. It's a new Mishimoto radiator. It's got the fans with the shroud and all that jazz. No, that's just, he included some old like AE111 like interior parts, but those don't work in this car, so I know I still have them, but what else do we got here? Some other interior parts, the console, pretty much all the interior parts for the front are there. All the nuts and bolts and shit are in this box. What else do we got? Oh, this is the front lip. It's just like a little cokey lip. It looks like it's supposed to be stock for this front end. It has little screws and little tabs. It just mounts to the front bumper. You got your little classic 86 boot with the shift knob in there. Looks all classic and shit. These are the original GZ coils. I bought these Supra coils and they're the same, but the reason I bought them is because this one has a broken little plug deal and I was just gonna replace them, but you could still work like that. It's just you know, it's not really, it's kind of jank, so I'm gonna want to use these other coils. And that's them right there. So that should be most of everything. I already went over the transmissions. They come with that one GZ clutch setup. Can't really think of anything else. Talked about the engine and all the springs and cams and shit it's got. Old harness, seats, all the interior bits. So that's pretty much it. Oh, the wheels, I don't know if you can see them, it's kind of dark in my garage, but it's a, they're like little slotted rotors and some sort of pad, and it's got like little stainless steel lines. I don't know what brand. Underneath the car is pretty good. You got just like a gritty DD exhaust, and the rear diff is Cusco. I mean, that's what I assume because it's got this little Cusco sticker. And the owner was telling me it had an upgraded LSD in it, so pretty sure it's a Cusco LSD because he's got the Cusco sticker. You got little hood pins. The hood just has little hood pins, and then they go through there. I don't know much else to say about that. That should be it. This car was, I bought this car from this Taiwanese guy, and he had it for a long time, since like the early 2000s. And I think he said it was like converted in like 2003 or something. And so they converted it in like a non-standard way. It was done, there's this write-up on 4AG done by the Schubert guy, and it's like very like general and it's pretty good. But this was done before that, so it doesn't really follow the same sort of logic. And I don't know, it was done by a shop. He was telling me that it was like his friend's shop. His name was like Yi Ming Ho or something. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, he said he had built this car back in the early 2000s, and it was just set up the way he liked it. Yeah, that's why it also has like a lot of Taiwanese stuff, because he was from Taiwan, so he bought like a little Taiwan Recaros, all those horns and shit. It had like a Viper alarm system in that box, but I wouldn't really put that in there. All the AC like heater core and AC like tubing and stuff is there, but there is no condenser, and it's an 8.6, and people, you don't usually have AC, so that's it. All the windows are good, none of them have any cracks, They got this little sticker that says GTS twin cam. I don't know if it's a sticker or if it's like in the window. I don't know. But all the windows are good. None of them are cracked at all, which is pretty amazing for Texas, because like literally every window is cracked in Texas. So that's pretty good. Yeah, the windows are good too. So that should be it. I mentioned the mounts. Those are the motor mounts will probably go in the car. And that should have been all the parts. So thank you for your interest, and let me know if you have any other questions about the car.